look who decided to show up.
Wow. Ready for tomorrow?
I am ready for tomorrow, thank you, sir. I haven't vlogged in a while, have I?
No, you haven't.
It's a bit weird, isn't it?
No, it's not.
Oh, really? It's weird for me. Anyway, Lachlan's got a cage. Lachlan has a cage in his AU. First things first, guys, make sure that you drift with friends, otherwise it's a little bit lonely. The best part about the sport is that everyone is super friendly and wants to learn with you, and I think that's what has made drifting such a big thing in Victoria, Melbourne and Australia at the moment, and in the world. Get on all fours. We're gonna start with the obvious one, guys, and that's you need to make sure that you have enough tires for the event. Now, the drift day we're going to is a 2-day event, so Lachlan and I together have secured almost 20 tires total for the both of us. What is it, 25?
I'm gonna try and get another 4 today, which will give me 14. You'll have 14, so that's 28 in total. Almost 30 for 2 days is pretty ridiculous.
I think this guy chopped one too many coils. Boy, this thing is low. Goodbye, goodbye.
I followed the rextonLHYT YouTube video on how to chop an AU Falcon coil. It did not go to plan.
Well, you clearly didn't follow it properly, brother. Now, the first thing you might notice is that none of these have stickers on them, and that's because, yes, they are second hand. And usually I would go for a brand new tire because you obviously get longer life out of them. However, when it comes to drifting 2 days, it is a very expensive journey. So I try to save on costs as much as possible. And if that means using secondhand tires, I'm going to use secondhand tires. We don't have a professional drift car. We just have a street registered AU Falcon with a cage. So I don't go overkill. Maybe later in life when I do have like a competition car, then yes, I'll go brand new tires. But guys, for now, you don't have to get brand new tires. You can get yourself some cheapies. These were 45 fitted, and I'd say that most of these are either brand new almost and have just been sitting there for a while, or have like 95% tread. Now, if you do decide to buy brand new and you're looking for something cheap that's going to last a long time, 2 brands come to mind: Saloon and Windruns. If you can get access to those are what a lot of the drifters use. We actually have some Saloons and I think some Windruns somewhere, so got lucky there. Not too bad. Now, another piece of advice: if you want the best sort of return on transition, then you want the biggest wheel sizes possible. So yes, we do currently have some 15s, some 16s, but we also do have some 17s that we're going to be using and trialing and comparing, because I'm still sort of new into drift. But for now, we are going to of course run some fat, thick boy sidewalls just for now, because of course we're trying to save where we can. Drift on the cheap, learn, and then drift expensive and win.
Bruh, look at this dude.
Alright guys, next thing is optional, and that is a camera. If you want to record your sick drifts, then you need a GoPro mount or a GoPro. They're the best camera that you can use for filming, and you'll be able to get some sick shots like the one that you're seeing now. Of course, I'm a YouTuber, so I need to make sure that I get all the footage, and having a GoPro makes it so much easier. It also helps with your technique too, because you can look back on your footage and you can see what you need to change in your driving. You might need to change up your steering, you might be crossing your arms or something but not even noticing it. I've looked back on a lot of my footage and I can see a lot of the stuff that I need to improve on, and I've applied it, and I've just become a better driver every single time that I've been to an event. The reason we've gone on a drive is because we need to fill our tires up with air, so this is something that you'll probably need to do as well, but there'll be most likely an air pump at the track, so you won't need to worry about it. Probably going to fill the back ones to about, I don't know, 60 psi. Yes, I know that's a little bit weird that I'm going to about 55 psi, but that's because this car has like no power. Obviously more psi means less grip, and that's exactly what we want. So now we should be able to get to the track all good. I probably could have done less, but we are ready to go. All right guys, the next thing that you need to worry about is tools. You need to make sure that you bring tools to the track just in case you get into an accident and you need to repair your car, because if you don't have tools and you break your car, it's going to mean that your day ends much sooner than it has to. And you know, you spend a lot of money being there. You know, for our entry, I think it costs what, like $400 to be there for the 2 days?
Yeah, 400, 450.
So we want to make sure that we can fix our car there rather than take it home and then miss out on a few hours of drifting. So, of course, massive shout out to Chicane, because we have the Chicane tool set. We also have the lower portion of it, but this makes it so convenient being able to take the top of it off and having all the ratchets here. Fits in the rig perfectly. And yeah, you can grab one of these at Autobahn. Big shout out to Autobahn. Hell yeah.
Hell yeah, brother.
Boom.
Tire time.
Tire time.
Tire time.
So faster.
TT.
I can't take no loss. I don't even know what it costs. I hit the ground, then it go off. Yeah, hit the ground, then it go off. Yeah, I can't take no loss.
So you got your wheels, you got your tires, you got your tools, and you've just filled your wheels up with air. Wow, that's a lot. There's even more. Now, one thing to keep note of is that most motorsports require a fire extinguisher installed in the interior of the car, so you have quick access to it just in case an emergency happens and like a fire starts, of course. Fire extinguisher mounts can be bought from almost every single car, and if you can't buy them, you can get them fabricated pretty easily by a fabricator or a welder. They're very easy to make. I made my one myself, and it just bolts into the passenger seat mounts. Now, I brought this up earlier in the video, but something that makes drifting such an awesome sport is the people. Now, of course, when you're in the car, you want another person with you, and you can't do that here in Victoria unless, I don't know if you can see the back there, but unless you have a half cage installed. So of course, we got ourselves a half cage, an AGI half cage with intrusion bars installed as well from WazFab. This will allow me to have a passenger in the car and be able to drift, because obviously you don't want to hurt anyone. If you're taking someone out on the track, you don't want them to be injured, and having like intrusion bars and a roll cage is definitely going to prevent any major accidents as much as possible. But you know, it is motorsports at the end of the day. Obviously, if you want to drift by yourself, it's not entirely necessary. And we're also going to talk about something that is helpful, but also is not 100% necessary, and that is a hydraulic handbrake. As you can see, we have a hydro installed as well. Hydros are one of those things where like you don't 100% need them, but if you do have one, it's gonna save you a lot, and it's gonna enable you to get really close to other cars, because you'll be able to get on the handbrake basically straight away, immediately. It'll allow you to have better control over the car. It'll allow you to initiate drifts if you want to initiate them like that. They're relatively expensive to install, I'd say, but we have an inline hydro handbrake, which means that it's just running through our standard brake line system. You can go down the route of like a dual caliper setup, which is a little bit better, because you can use the foot brake independently to the hydraulic handbrake, which we can't actually do. If you press on the foot brake, then you won't be able to use the hydraulic handbrake. And the next thing that I didn't actually record or put anywhere on social media is a seat. Now, obviously, drifting is one of the most violent sports that you can do with cars in terms of like the chassis moving and the abuse of the car. You move around a lot, and every other drift event that I've been to, I have not had a seat until now. So I'm very excited to test this out, but I got myself a Rep Bride seat. Of course, not a genuine, because of course we're trying to save money, but this still costed me like $300, and it did come with rails, which we did customize, and you know, as you can see, it's all bolted in there and looking pretty damn good. Woo! A steering wheel also helps. There's a lot of things that also help, but yeah, just those three things: a seat, a hydro, and a steering wheel, they'll all do really good for you. And you know what, even the chassis, you can notice a difference when you install a cage, because it stiffens up everything, and the whole car is stiffer, and it just responds better when you turn it. Whoops. Anyway, while we filmed the entire video, Lachlan is still preparing for the drift day. It's tomorrow. It's currently what, like 7 o'clock, and you're still going.
Well done, man. Front runners are on. Skyline wheels on the back. We're ready to go. Ready to party.
Ah, the wheels that had cracks in them and now are repaired. What do you call these?
These are the... That's the colloquial term for them. These didn't have cracks though. 2 of them did, and those are in my storage unit. These are the 2 good ones.
Drifting is all about budgeting, because you can see that you can quickly make this sport very, very expensive. And of course, look, if you've got the money, you got the money. You can just, you know, crash a 32 Skyline and not have to worry about it. But if you're like us, then you got to drift these things. And they're beautiful, aren't they, fam?
You know what they say, you can't spell beautiful without AU.
Is there anything that you think that's not really talked about that you should talk about in terms of preparing for a drift day?
Definitely get a power steering cooler.
Oh, true.
I think that's a big must, especially if you've got one of these beautiful beasts, because they like to boil power steering fluid pretty quickly.
I think that's about it.
Helmet, safety.
Helmet, yes, helmet, safety gear. Look, if you do enough research, you can find all this stuff online, but, you know, obviously, look, I do all my research from YouTube videos. I'm not gonna lie, so, yeah. Lachlan's just having issues with his exhaust hitting against the transmission mount, so he's doing a little bit of the chop.